भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य सतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. Okay, so before we know, we have reached the 12th chapter of Canto 3. And the likes of Anay who joined late, welcome on board as well. But I think you are pretty much up to speed with all the recap that we did. So last session in the Temple Theatre Room, we did a mini recap and a quiz as well, actually, which was a tie between the boys and the girls. Hopefully, we have a tiebreaker in the next session. Maybe after another 8 chapters or something like that, we will do another mini quiz. So this is your time to make notes. I've been inspiring you to take notes. Some of you have been taking and some of you have not been, and that is fine. But hopefully that inspires you to take notes, because the more notes you take, the more you can recall during the quiz.
Oh,
And
so
I
can I
think,
just get a book to take my notes?
sorry, Anne?
Can I just get a book
Yeah,
from
yeah,
just
yeah,
note?
yeah. Yeah, yeah, take your time. And oh, you can write it on your iPad or whatever works for you guys. I'm okay. And then I was saying something else. By now, you have also figured out, for those of you who were in the quiz, that I believe, or I personally believe, that I don't ask silly questions, yeah, in the quiz. It's the questions that, I'm not going to ask you something that is quite, too far out and, let's say, almost like unnecessary to some extent. I will ask you pertinent questions, things that I believe will empower you as preachers in the future and make you also, more understandable of the philosophy. You have also figured out by now, because I'm associating with you for the first time in terms of, teaching to kids. You would have figured out that I overemphasize on the storyline. I would like you to know the Bhagavatam storyline, which Gaurang Darshan Prabhu calls it Pravaha. Pravaha means flow. So I keep saying the Bhagavatam flow is like this. That's all I want you to know at your age. I'm not overly fussed with the memory verses, although I would like you to learn, the ones that I suggest, but I never check the homeworks. And Gaurang Darshan Prabhu also added, that knowing the verses is nice, but knowing the meanings of the verses is nicer. So maybe, once a month we'll take a vase and explode it the way, or you were not there actually in the adult seminar. Gaurang Darshan Prabhu was talking about verses and memorizing the verses. So he said, explode a vase and know pretty much every word of it. So don't learn too. He didn't say that actually. Let me just try to say what I understood out of his preaching. Many people may have understood it differently, which is fine, because sometimes we hear the way we want to hear. Yeah, the way I heard it is that, learn a verse and learn it nicely rather than learning too many verses and not knowing the meanings. But then he also said that, learning a lot of verses is also good, even if you don't know the meanings, because the verses are Sanskrit, it's Krishna's words or Vaishnava's words, so it is still empowering. But Prabhupada always inspired us to learn the verse and explode it. So we'll do that maybe one verse a month or something like that. Okay. So with that, super duper mini recap for 2 minutes, and then we will go into chapter number 12. So what has happened so far? We have covered 11 chapters of Canto 3. Ronit, is that stretching or is that a question?
Question.
Huh?
You're saying like you're asking what happened in the chapters.
Yeah. No, yeah, I'm just going to do a mini recap now. So what has happened at the moment, we have the chapter started with, we saw how Maitreya Muni, met Uddhava. And we did a quiz on that, how Maitreya Muni left Hastinapur and then finally met Uddhava. And then Maitreya Muni asked Uddhava to give him what Krishna gave to Uddhava, which was Parama Mistitham, transcendental situation. Uddhava said that would be Maryada Vyatikrama. Please go to Vidura. Please go to Maitreya. Uddhava said to Vidura, please go to Maitreya. And he will be able to tell you, because Maitreya was also listening when Krishna was giving me Paramam Istitham. So then Vidura went to Maitreya went, Vidura went to Maitreya Muni, and and then Vidura asked Maitreya Muni several questions, as many as like, maybe 30, 40, 50 questions. We don't remember a lot of questions. I personally don't, you might, but it was difficult to remember all the questions. But in essence, I want you to remember this now, because the reason we are going to chapter number 12 is because at 11, chapter number 11, there is a nice break, or not a break, yeah, like, let's say nice conclusion is the word I was looking at. Nice conclusion of these many chapters, which is chapters number, let's say 3 to chapters number 11. And this part of, so Canto 3 of Bhagavatam talks about Sarga and Visarga. Okay, actually Canto 1 and 2 also talk about Sarga and Visarga, but let's not worry about 1 and 2 because we have not studied together. But I want you to know that so far, Maitreya Muni has been telling Vidura about Sarga. Now, who knows what is Sarga? Before I explain to you, what is Sarga? Okay, you don't know what is Sarga, that's fine, no problems. How many of you know what is primary creation? Yes, Ronit.
Isn't primary creation mean what the creation that Brahma created?
Okay, anybody else? Shreya?
Is it when the Lord created Brahma?
Lord created Brahma. Anybody else? Tanvik?
When when Lord when Lord Vish when Lord Vishnu created Brahma.
Lord Vishnu. That's what Shreya said. Okay, Gaurangi?
The first creation that Brahma did?
The first creation that Brahma did is called primary creation. Okay, anybody else? Anay?
When the Lord created Brahma.
When the Lord created Brahma. 3 points for the Lord created Brahma. 3 people have said it. That must be right then, yeah? As many people said, it must be right, but unfortunately not. Okay, so I can give you a hint now only that this will be a quiz question. You got to know the difference between Sarga and Visarga, primary versus secondary creation.
Is
And I'll explain.
Visarga primary and that other one secondary? Visarga secondary?
Visarga primary, that is Anayu Vacha, that's your Bhagavatam. Okay, so listen now and please write it down. So so Sarga is equal to primary creation is equal
Oh,
to creation by the Lord. So these 3 you have to explain to me. Sarga is equal to, so definition of Sarga is primary creation and is equal to the creation by the Lord. So when you said Sargar is primary, that when Lord Vishnu created Brahma, that is true, that is correct, but that is not complete. Correct? Because Vishnu creates Brahma, but Vishnu also creates so many other things. Yeah.
But Prabhuji, what was the
Hang
difference?
on, hang on, hang on, hang on. One. Just listen out and then ask your question in 1 minute. Yeah. Just hold on to your question so others can also hear. So Sarga is equal to primary creation is equal to all creations by Lord Vishnu, including Brahma. But you don't have to say including Brahma, but if you want to, that's fine as well. You can just say all creations by Vishnu. Okay. Sarga is equal to primary creation is equal to all the creations by Lord Vishnu. And now I'll just pause there. When you go back to some few chapters, remember when Maitreya Muni was telling Brahma what Vishnu had created? How many of you remember? There was like a demigod, there was the material elements, all those things. There was, and then the different type of jivas that are embodied, so on and so forth, So that was primary creation. Now let's come to the next one. Visarga is equal to secondary creation. And that is equal to all the creations by Lord Brahma. Crystal clear? Sarga, primary creation, Lord Vishnu. Visarga, secondary creation by Lord Brahma. So when Lord Brahma creates, you can actually say in this way, it will be more technically correct, that Lord Brahma actually doesn't create anything. He assembles everything. For example, when we build a house, the builder builds the house. But where does the timber and the cement and the iron and the road and everything come from? That comes from somewhere else. That nature, ultimately, that comes from Mother Earth. And who created Mother Earth? Vishnu. So like that. So Brahma assembles different things in different types. That's Visarga. Okay, now Ronit, your question.
Prabhuji, what was the meaning of Durga?
Visarga.
Yeah.
Visarga is equal to secondary creation, is equal to the creation by Lord Brahma.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. So I was saying then to bring it together. So that is the concept we were talking. Bring the concept into our text, into our storyline. So far, Maitreya Muni has been telling Vidura about Sarga, such as, what are the, okay, I'll ask you actually, I'll pause there. What are some of the examples of Sarga that we have seen in the 11 chapters? What is the definition of Sarga? Tell me that first, and then tell me what are some of the examples you can think of from actual examples in these 11 chapters that you can recall. Come on, don't be shy. Even if you're wrong, it's fine. There's no negative marking for now. For now. In the quiz there will be, but not now. Shreya, you are mute.
Prabhuji, what's the question again?
Tell me a definition of Sarga and recall some examples from the 11 chapters we have discussed about the examples of Sarga.
The Lord creating Brahma.
When Lord Vishnu
Hang on.
Karna.
Let Shreya finish now, Tanvi. Shreya, yeah, please.
When the Lord created Brahma,
Yes, brilliant. And what is the definition of Sarga, Shreya?
create all the creations by Lord Vishnu.
Yeah, so all the creations of Vishnu is the definition. And one example she can recall is when Lord created Brahma. Brilliant. Anybody else? Now, Tanvik.
I can recall that can tell that when Karnataka Vishnu was creating the universes.
When Karnodaksha Vishnu was creating the universes, very good. Yep, no. Most of the elements of the universe is good. That's Sarga. Ronit. Good, Tanvik. Ronit.
The living entities are souls.
The living entities or souls all coming from Vishnu, brilliant. Although it's not technically a creation because we are eternal, but yep, we can accept that as well. That we are Sargas, because we come from Lord Vishnu, or at least the soul comes from Vishnu. Now you get the concept and the idea as well, definition. Yeah, all clear. Yeah, I think this is clear now. Yes.
Did he make the 5 elements?
We'll
Fire,
come.
water, air, earth.
Yeah. Krishna says Bhumi Rapo Nalovaya. Do you know this verse, Ronit? You've learned this in Bhakta Prahlad. Bhumi Rapo Analovaya. You know this verse? Bhumi Rapo Analovayo Kham Mano Buddhi Revacha Ahankara iti Yame Bhinna Prakriti Rastara. Krishna says these are my separated energy. And we'll talk about that in few chapters time. But just park your question. Good morning, Pratham. We're missing you, buddy.
Good morning, Prabhuji.
Good to see you. Better late than never. Okay, so now another one more example of Sarga, which I'll give you a hint. Last chapter. Time. Who creates time? Brahma or Krishna? Actually, again, time is not created because it's eternal. But then time is the energy of Krishna. So that's Sarga. So now you get the point. Vishnu creates Brahma. Vishnu creates time. This is all Sarga. Now let's look at Visarga. What is the definition of Visarga, Anay?
The definition of Visarga is all the creation by Lord Brahma. And
So-
an example is
Don't go into the examples. We have not looked at the examples yet. But now if chapter 12, I'm saying is Visarga, what do we expect in chapter 12?
All the things Brahma created.
All the things Brahma creates. You get the umbrella, helicopter, bird's eye view, Gauranga Prabhu was saying, yeah? You get a bird's eye view, a helicopter view. So with that view, let's zoom into the details. Chapter 12, text number 1. Chapter 12 is entitled as The Creation of the Kumaras. Ronit, 1 second. The creation of the Kumaras and others. Take a guess, raise your hand. Chapter 12 is Visarga. Title is The Creation of the Kumaras and others. Who do you think creates the raise your hand. Who do you think creates Kumaras? Ronit.
Lord Brahma.
Lord Brahma, because we
They're
have
his
said
sons.
it.
I think they're
And
his
that is-
sons, right?
And his sons as well. Shreya, did you have same or different answer? Same answer. Okay, Ronit, what was your previous question? You're raising your hand.
Can I read first?
Okay, you can. Go for it. Go, Ronit. Text number 1.
Translation. Sri Maitreya said, O learned Vidura, so far I have explained to you the glories of the form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead in his feature of Kala. Now you can hear from me about the creation of Brahma, the reservoir of all Vedic knowledge.
So Pratham, if we are reading from Canto 3, chapter number 12. Prabhuji, your voice is breaking for me when I turn on my video. The voice becomes normal again. Okay, so Vedi, is that the problem everywhere or just with Vedi?
Just Vedi.
Okay, so it's an isolated problem, Vedi. It's not a global problem. So just maybe log
Oh,
out and log.
sorry, I just told her to tell you that. So
Okay. Maybe just dial out and dial back in. That might solve the problem. So we Pratham, I was saying we're reading from Canto 12, chapter number Canto 3, chapter number 12, text number 1, after a mini recap, which took 20 minutes. Okay, so so what did Maitreya say? Maitreya said, "Oh Vidura, I have now explained to you the glories of the form of Krishna in his feature as Kala." Where was this? Where did Maitreya Muni explain all this? Yes, Shreya.
In in the last chapter.
In the last chapter. So see how much emphasis the preachers of Bhagavatam who are found in the Bhagavatam, such as Sukadeva Goswami, Vidura, Maitreya Muni, Vidura, Krishna, they all always put emphasis on the flow as well. So even here, Maitreya is also saying that I've just explained to you about Kala, which was in the previous chapter. So he says that. And then what is he said? Now hear from me about the creation of Brahma. What is that? What is the creation of Brahma? Just say it. Just unmute and say it.
For Kumara.
For Kumara's Narada.
No.
Visarga.
Visarga. Who's it? Ane. Visarga. Now hear about the creation of Brahma, which is Visarga. Why do you have to go to it, Kumaras? That is one example only. Brahma creates so many things. We are talking about Visarga. Text number 2. Ane?
Yes. Brahma first created the nascent engagements like self-deception, the sense of death, anger after frustration, the sense of false ownership, and the illusory bodily conception or forgetfulness of one's real identity.
Okay, so what did Brahma create? First thing. This will also come in the quiz. What are the, I'm giving you the quiz questions now only, yeah? Krishna, what's the fun then, right? So let me just put it this way. I'm giving you the quiz questions as it comes to mind, and there will be some suspense questions as well, yeah? So catch the ones that at least I'm giving it to you, and then deal with the suspense and the googlies as they come. So this will be another quiz question. Sarga Visarga was question number 2. Question number 1. Question number 2 is, what are the first creation of Brahma will be the quiz question. Say Sriya.
Oh, self-deception.
No, I'm not asking a question. That's a rhetorical question. Yeah. For now, what are the first creation of Brahma? So let's see. Brahma first. Let's read the Sanskrit. It's easier. Yeah. Sa sarjangre andhata mishram atha ta mishram adikrit maha moham cha tamascha ajnana virte. So, and then I'll ask you for the Sanskrit as well. So the 5 things that Brahma creates. Let me rephrase. The first thing that Brahma creates is called Ajnana Virtaha or Ajnana Virtihi. No?
Kids class.
Chaitanya, just mute yourself, yeah? So the first thing that Brahma creates is Ajnana Virtis. Or Virtis, Virtaya, Virtis, whatever. So you can see the word in the last line of the Sanskrit. Cha Ajnana Virtayaha. So Ajnana means what? Ignorance. 5 means features of ignorance. So 5, Sanskrit and English. Ajnana Virtis is equal to 5 features of ignorance. That is the first thing Brahma creates. Now the next question is, again, all these quiz questions. What are the 5 features of ignorance? And the 5 features of ignorance are, you can break it down later by looking at the Sanskrit. Tamaha, Moham, Mahamoham, Tamishram, and Andha Tamishram. What are all these 5 exactly? I'll explain to you another day. But for now, just if you can memorize this, Tamaha, Maham, Mahamoham, Tamishram, Andha Tamishram. Let's actually do this. Why don't we make this at least one key memory base? See, I've never given you a key memory base. I've given you KLVs, which is key learning bases. But let's make this as KMV, which is key memory base. Why? The only reason I want you to memorize this base is because then the Sanskrit 5 will become easier. सा जांग्रे अंधा तामिश्रम अथ तामिश्रम आदिकृत महामोहम च मोहम च tama ajnana virte. So there is tama. If you walk backwards, there is tama, there is moham, there is mahamoham, there is tamishram, and there is andha tamishram in that verse. Can we memorize this? If Zanna Mataji can post Gaurang Darshan Baru's YouTube video on this, plus the verse as well, and then let's make this as our verse. It
Can you
don't
say
take you
the
too long.
can you say the 5 things? I want to note it down.
Tama, moham, mahamoham, tamishram, and andha tamishram. Shreya, your hand is up.
Prabhuji, do we also have to memorize the translation?
You can just memorize the translation that this, like this, exactly like this. That the 5 things Brahma creates, the first thing that Brahma creates is Ajnana Vritti, which is the 5 features of ignorance, and they are like this: Tama, Moham, Mahamoham, Tamishram, and Andha Tamishram. That is enough for me as your translation. Not, you don't have to memorize word by word, yeah? Sanskrit by Sanskrit is fine. Okay, so that's the 5. Now, how do you think Brahma feels by creating these 5? First thing, Lord is, remember, if you recall Brahma's prayers, what did he say? Please empower me so that I can create. Please protect me from false prestige. Please protect me from deviation. Please help me. Please make me your devotees. All these things Brahma is praying like that. And then the first thing he goes and creates is ignorance. How do you think Brahma feels now? Proud of himself? Jolly good, you know? Oh, he feels different. What do you think? Yes, Gaurangi?
Prabhuji, I had a question.
No, answer my question first before I come to your question. How do you think Brahma is feeling? But I'll come to your question in a second, Gaurangi. Balram, how do you think Brahma is feeling?
Prabhuji, I think he's feeling like bad that I shouldn't have done such a thing. Like I shouldn't have made him forget all of this stuff, or like
Yeah, he's feeling bad. What are some of the synonyms for bad that we, let's take it as he's feeling bad, right? Because of course he won't be feeling good about this. Why he does it, we'll answer that question in a minute as well. Let's just figure out what he does. So there's 3 questions: what, why, and what, why, and how, maybe. Yeah. So what he creates is the 5 features of ignorance. Why he creates it, we'll answer that question in a minute. I want to come to that. But how is he feeling after this is what we are discussing at the moment. And Balram said bad. What are some some better synonyms of bad that we can think of that tells us about
Guilty.
Brahma's evolution? Guilty?
Feeling guilty.
Guilty only if he's done something bad intentionally. Like,
miserable
He intentionally created all
and
of the
blue.
ignorance.
yeah, but maybe he was required to, okay, maybe let's answer this question first then. Okay, Shreya, what were you saying?
Unhappy.
Unhappy, which is same as sad. Okay, Pratham.
Prabhuji, miserable.
Hey, let Pratham talk, yaar. Who's over talking? Yes,
Miserable.
Pratham.
Depressed.
Miserable.
Miserable, yeah, that's a good word. He's
Depressed.
feeling depressed, yeah, that's pretty good. Depressed, yeah. Now we are talking.
Disappointed.
Disappointed, very good, very good. Now we are
Glum.
talking, yes.
Prabhuji.
Yeah.
Glum. Melancholy. Prabhuji, melancholy.
Melancholy, so what that even I don't know. My goodness.
Dejected.
Morose.
Morose, yes, very good. Okay.
Dejected.
Dejected, yes. Okay.
Glum. Blue.
Hang on. Mute yourself, Samita. I just want to hear Samita. Yes. Samita? Sorry, you don't have to me. Glum. My goodness, I don't know melancholy and I don't know glum. Okay.
Blue.
What
She
Pratham?
said
Blue?
glum. 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 She said glum.
Yeah, I don't know that word glum.
Blue.
It's like
Blue.
down.
Okay, down. Okay, I'm feeling glum. Okay, I'll use that word now. Glum. I'll have to Google it first to see if it's the right word. Okay, glum. So let's answer the other question first. Why we have answered what he creates. What, raise your hand? What does Brahma create as the first thing? Or anybody just talk now. We are getting too much into time. What did Brahma create?
Nascent engagements.
Shreya, yes. What did he say?
Nascent engagements.
Nascent engagements, okay, which is the 5 Ajnana Vrittis, which is the 5
Did he
features of
create
ignorance.
ignorance?
Did he? Yeah, Tama, ignorance, no? That's Tama.
See?
Oh, darkness. Okay, why do you think Brahma creates this? Before we then figure out how he feels. Why do you think Brahma creates this, Gaurangi?
I think Brahma creates Tamamoham first, like ignorance first, because like
Because he had nothing else to do.
Uh,
Because Krishna asked him to do. Because he wanted to have fun. Because he lost his intelligence. Because he's proud. Because. Keep saying.
be-
Just unmute and say. Just unmute
is
and
it
say
because the
everyone.
Lord told him to?
The Lord. Then why would Lord tell him to create ignorance? That becomes the second. The next one.
Because the people may need ignorance in Kali Yuga.
Yeah, but Brahma is pushing it onto us. Yeah,
Prabhuji,
Brahma. So Brahma is a bad boy, isn't it?
Prabhuji,
Yes.
Prabhuji, like so that the Lord had to come to take away the ignorance, and so
Yeah.
that the people will know about the Lord and like the story would spread better.
Oh, Krishna. So the Lord creates it so that he can come back and take
Prabhuji,
it. Yes. Yes, Prabhuji, Mataji. Who is this
to make
Mataji?
us forget Krishna.
Yeah, I like that answer actually. I like that answer to make us forget Krishna. Why would Brahma do that? Why would Brahma make us forget
He'll
Krishna?
make Maya
So,
Devi
so yeah, so
You,
for that.
remember Krishna.
Prabhuji,
yes, Shreya?
Is it because then we have to try and remember Krishna after, so then we'll be
It's like it's like I'm giving you a very, very, I'm giving you a very, very spicy sabji, like full of chilies, just so that I can then give you ice cream and then you know how ice cream tastes. It's almost like that, yeah. What you are saying, all of you are saying. The food
Prabhuji,
is the mother has made why has the mom made the food so spicy? And your answer is so that after you know how gulab jamun tastes.
torture.
Tocha. Did you say tocha? Somebody said tocha. Okay. We'll go into a detailed answer later, but just for now, remember, this is not Brahma's fault, and Brahma is not silly. He's not a bad boy that he's doing all this. The reason Brahma does it is because the material world itself is a place which, by definition, is ignorance. It's like I'm asking you to make a cake, and then you are putting in sugar, and somebody is saying, why can't you put salt? It's like, yeah, my cake means ice. No, you're making cake, so it has to be sugar. You are making a milkshake. Gaurang Darshan Prabhu was saying there is nothing such as nimbu shake. There is milkshake because when you put nimbu in the milk, it will not shake. It will split it, separate it,
It
and
will
you'll get
become
yolk.
paneer type thing.
You'll become paneer. So I'm asking you to make milkshake and you put nimbu in it. It's not working. And I ask you to draw a circle and then you give a square. Well, circle, square is square. Material world by definition is a place of ignorance. Because this is, and a long story later, but this is where the jivas have to fall from the spiritual world into the material world. And by definition, it's a prison, as Prabhupada says, which is full of ignorance. So that's the first thing. Because if there is no ignorance here, then there is no space here for jivas. Why? Because if there is no ignorance, the jivas will go back to the Godhead. But the jivas want to be here and enjoy their senses, and therefore it's a place of ignorance. So now understanding that, and I'll explain to you all that later, a little bit later, but for now that it's not Brahma's mistake, it's not an error in design, it is intentionally, this is the definition of material world ignorance. So Brahma creates that first. Knowing that this is duty of Brahma to create this as part of Visarga, and he has done it purposefully according to the blueprint of the material world, the design of the material world, how do you think Brahma is feeling now? Which were the answers you were giving me before, but does your answer change or same? Is he now feeling proud and happy, or is he still feeling dejected and remorse
He's
and
feeling satisfied.
glum?
Prabhuji,
Yes.
I think he's feeling misleaded, like feeling that he's misleaded the creation.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
think
yeah. He's feeling he's misleading the others. Yeah. Yeah. I can
he's
agree with
feeling
that.
satisfied.
Whoa, Ane. Your dad is a Bhakti Vriksha preacher, and he goes on the Vyasasana in the Bhakti Vriksha and then says, I'm going to put all of you into ignorance because that's my duty so that I can later on give you bhakti. How do you think Kaushal Prabhu will feel? Pleased? Satisfied? And he will come and tell the Bhakti Vriksha board, including Ojasvi Prabhu, that
Not much
last
pleasure.
week Friday I'm fully satisfied because I put everybody in ignorance. Job well done. You think he'll feel happy? Please, satisfied? Although it's his duty. Yeah, Ronit?
Not much pleasure in his activity.
Yeah, not much pleasure now. So you might have your own views, fine. But let's just say what is Bhagavatam's view. Yeah, let's read the next text, which is Samhita. Samhita, you want to read text number 3, please?
Which text?
3.
Text.
Chapter 12, text number 3.
Yeah. Seeing such a miserable, misleading creation as a sinful task, Brahma did not feel much pleasure in his activity, and therefore he purified himself by meditation on the personality of Godhead. Then he began another term of creation.
Okay, so what does Maitreya Muni say? How did Brahma feel? What are the exact words from there? Pinch it out. What?
Prabhuji, can I tell?
Huh?
Can I tell, Prabhuji?
Yeah, tell, Chaitanya. Is that Chaitanya?
No, it's Aradhya, Prabhuji.
Oh, Aradhya, yeah, sorry, Aradhya.
So, he was feeling not much pleasure in his activity
He was
and
not.
seeing such a misleading creation also.
Yeah, so Brahma did it as duty to the Lord, but still he's not feeling much pleasure. I want you to remember this as well. Let's just take this word as a uniform word. Brahma was displeased. And I'll tell you later why I want you to remember the word displeased, because there's a reason for that. So Brahma first creates, bring that all together. That's a mini episode now, 3 verses. Brahma first creates the 5 features of ignorance, which is equal to Ajnana Vrittis. And then the 5 ignorance features of ignorance itself, you remember that as key memory ways. After creating that as a duty to the Lord in requiring for his service, Brahma is feeling displeased. Naturally, he's feeling displeased. Then he has to create some more things now. Let's see what he creates in text number 4. Tanvik, Shreya, question? Yes, Shreya.
Yeah. So did he create the ignorance just because it was his duty to the Lord?
Not as a duty to the Lord, but as a requirement for the creation of the material world. Material world means ignorance. So here's the first element that, let's say, he creates as ignorance, so that the jivas are bound here. Of course, everything is a duty to the Lord because that's his service. But in terms of creation, that is, let's take another example, let's say Aniruddha Prabhu chastises me, or my Guru Maharaj, let's say, my Guru Maharaj chastises me. How do you think he feels? Or Aniruddha Prabhu, my Guru Maharaj, senior devotees chastise me. How do you think they'll feel? Happy? Not so much pleasure, yeah, in chastising anybody. But they have to do it as a duty that's their duty to correct me. Because if I'm wrong, I deserve punishment. Yeah. And how do you think let me see the answer actually. Let me see the answer. How do you think your parents feel when they tell you off? Yes, Shreya. Happy?
Not good. They feel bad for you.
They feel bad for you. Yeah, but they still continuously, time to time, chastise us and tell us off and put us in the corner. What is it called?
My
Detention.
parents feel happy when they
Your parents
chastise
feel
me.
happy. Very good. I expected that answer from you. Anybody else's parents? Tanvik, how does your mummy feel when she chastises you?
She feels upset.
Yeah, not so good, no, not so pleasure. And Ane said is in a joke, I understand that. See, parents don't have any joy in telling their children off, but as a duty to themselves and to the children, they have to do it because correction is a service that comes from our seniors. So when we tell people off, when we are chastising them, correcting them, there is not pleasure in it, but it is a required as part of the job. You know what I mean? So Brahma creating ignorance, there is no pleasure in it, but he has to do it as part of his job. Shriya, better, does that resonate now with that example? Mommy create, chastising. Does your mommy chastise you? No, never. Okay, good. Okay, so let's see what else Brahma creates. Now, text number 4. Somebody was supposed to read Tanvik.
Prabhuji,
Yes.
I have a question actually. So this Tamamoham, Mahamoham, and what is the last 3?
Tama Moham, Mahamoham, Tamishram, Anda Tamishram. When you listen to Gaurang Darshan Prabhu's video, it will be very clear. So just park that question, Gaurangi. Look at that video, and then he'll explain each of them very, very nicely. Just after this immediately, or sometimes today, just look at that video that Dharna Mataji has already posted. Yeah, you'll get a better understanding. That's why I'm not zooming into it. I'll let Gaurang Darshan Prabhu do the talking. Okay, so let's see what happens in text number 4. Tanvik.
In the beginning, Brahma created 4 great sages named
Sanaka,
Sanaka,
Sananda,
Sanatana,
Sanatan, and Sanat Kumar.
Kumara.
All of them were unwilling to adopt materialistic activities because they were highly elevated due to their semens flowing up.
Okay, so what is happening now? Brahma, remember, also remember at the end of the day that Lord Vishnu is the Sarga. He creates everything, the ingredients. Visarga is Brahma has to create. Generally speaking, that is the bodies that Brahma has to give us. In other words, you can say progeny, that Brahma has to create all these progeny, different type of species, such as demigods, sages, demons, human beings, animals, trees, plants, aquatic life. So reptiles, all these things Brahma has to create because the Lord has created the jiva, which is sarga. Now it has to be encaged in different types of bodies. That is the visarga. So Brahma has to create the bodies. So Brahma's focus at the moment is creating different types of bodies using the elements that Vishnu has given. So first he created Ajnana Vrittis, which is the 5 features of ignorance. Now he creates the 4 Kumaras. You might not know this, but the 4 Kumaras symptomize, listen to this line. The 4 Kumaras symptomize knowledge.
Prabhuji, what does symptomize mean?
Represents or signifies or represents. The 4 Kumaras represent knowledge. Now answer this question by raising your hand. Why do you think Brahma creates knowledge?
Because he wants to spread Krishna's
He wants
Vishnu.
to spread bhakti, yeah, fine. Okay, Gaurangi.
Like he created ignorance first.
Yeah,
Then
brilliant.
to make sure like there's a cure for that ignorance, he created knowledge.
Beautiful. Shreya, any other answer? The same.
They're the
Same. Brahma created ignorance and felt displeased. I want you to remember that Brahma created ignorance and felt displeased. Now he has created knowledge. So immediately there is a problem, but he is giving a solution as well. And the knowledge is in the form of the 4 Kumaras. How is Brahma feeling now?
Prabhuji,
How is Brahma feeling? Hang on. How,
happy,
happy, yeah.
Feeling
elated,
He's feeling jubilant.
Jubilant, yeah.
exuberant.
Good. Exuberance. Good words are coming out now.
Prabhuji, I
Yes.
think he's like, he is kind of happy, but not like fully happy because he is not finished his creation.
Yeah, maybe partially happy. True. We are over
Satisfied?
satisfied. Maybe we are jumping the gun. Yeah, maybe he's not happy. We'll see very soon. But just remember for now that he
Wait.
creates knowledge to counteract the ignorance. Yeah, that's what I meant to remember, which is Gaurangi's words. Knowledge is to cure the ignorance, or you can say counteract the ignorance. Yeah. Okay, somebody had a question. Yes, Ronit.
Prabhuji, when it says the creation of the Kumaras and others, who are the others?
We'll find out very soon. Good question. We'll find out the others. At the end of the chapters, we'll see who else Brahma creates. Very good question, Ronit. Good pickup. Okay. Now, one question from me. Brahma has created knowledge and how he is feeling. We believe or we suspect that he's feeling happy, but we don't know fully. Now, 8:44. Am I going too slow for you? Should I speed up? Should I speed up? How many of you are bored because I'm going too slow? No, be honest. Be
I'm
honest.
not bored.
Okay. Shreya, too slow for you? The reason I'm slow because it's a new chapter, it's a new concept. We're talking about Visarga. I want you to get it in your head. What is Visarga? And why Brahma is doing what? Because then once we build this foundation, then the rest of the chapter will flow very quickly. But without a foundation, the house will be shaky. Yeah, Gaurangi, what was your point?
Prabhuji, I think their speed is okay only.
Okay, but
Because
don't
if we
forget
go
that.
if we go faster, then we won't understand what we're reading.
Yeah, and from my side, I must say that I'm absolutely impressed with all of you because you are catching it, And I repeat myself, I would like you to know the Bhagavatam flow. And with that flow, the concepts that are important. And when I'm explaining, I can see you are capturing it and recalling it. So I'm impressed. Anusha,
Prabhuji, I have to go now. I have a class.
you have to go. Okay.
Thank you,
Okay, Anusha, I'll see you later. Yes. Anybody else? Ronit, finger is up. Priya, finger is up.
Can
Yep.
I read?
No, Ronit, you have to share the reading. I'm going in the order. I like your enthusiasm, but I have to go in the order that I'm on my screen. So next is Pratham very soon. Shreya?
Prabhuji. So, just to confirm this, would it be so the reason Brahma created the four Kumaras or knowledge was because he first created ignorance, and to counteract that, he created knowledge?
Exactly right. Yes, precisely right. Yeah, Brahma created knowledge, and the purpose of all this is what to progenate. To create people so that they can come and live in the material world. That's the purpose. So, will four Kumaras create the material, the people or not? Let's find out very soon. Next verse, text number 6, which is Tanvik, 5, I think. Tanvik.
Pratham, it was Pratham. I was before.
Pratham. Sorry, yeah, Pratham. Next is Haripriya and Balram. Pratham, text number 5.
Brahma spoke to his sons after generating them. My dear sons, he said, now generate progeny. But due to their being attached to Vasudeva, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, they aimed at liberation. And therefore they expressed their unwillingness.
So the Lord has asked Brahma to create the material universe, fill it with ignorance, also give the cure of knowledge, and then he's told Brahma to go and populate the world. You can remember the word populate actually, population, which is equal to progeny. Go and progenate means to go and populate the world. Brahma creates ignorance, he feels displeased, then he creates the four Kumaras to counteract the ignorance, which is the symptomizes knowledge. And Brahma asked the four Kumaras to go and create progeny. Quiz question. What did Brahma ask the four Kumaras? You can exactly repeat those words for 3 marks. He asked them to now generate progeny. What do you think? Four Kumaras will say, yes, boss? Or they will say, I've got better ideas. What do you
They
think?
will say no.
Prabhuji, the
They
answer
will say no.
No. Why do they say
They'll say,
no?
I've got better
Because
ideas.
Children saying no to the parents? Four
No,
Kumaras saying
because
no to Brahma?
because the four Kumaras want to, because they are attached to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, so they don't want to create.
Who was talking? Vede, yeah? Okay,
Yeah.
yeah. But four sons saying no to their father. And who are these sons? Supposed to be knowledge. And who is the father? Brahma? My goodness. How many of you say, none of you ever say no to your parents? Do you?
sometimes,
Oh, sometimes, sometimes, all the time, none of the times, most of the times.
maybe
Gaurangi?
30%.
Gaurangi? Do you ever say no to your mummy?
Sometimes.
Sometime, my goodness. How do you think mummy feels? Gaurangi?
Angry?
Angry? Yeah. Who else sometimes says
Prabhuji.
no to who else sometimes says no to their mother? Pratham, how do you think Kripavati Mataji feels when you say no?
Sad.
And how do you say no? Do you say no? Do you say no, mummy, I can't? Or do you say no?
No, mommy.
Oh, okay. And who else?
Prabhuji.
Balram, how do you say? Mummy, it's okay, I can't do it. Please don't mind, it's okay. Or do you say, give me some space, mate?
Can I do it? That's what you said.
Uh-huh.
Like I normally say that I'll do it in the evening.
Procrastination. No, no, yes, no, no.
Same.
Just delay tactics. Yeah, I'll do it.
Prabhuji.
Just do it in the evening. Oh, Krishna. Yes,
It's at home, okay.
Tanvik, how do you say?
I say, no, I can't do it now.
You can't do it now, Shreya. You're big girl now. You are more respectful, I presume. Yes.
I just say sure, but then I don't end up doing it.
Say yes just to please, and then don't do it.
Prabhuji.
Yes, Ronit.
I say okay, but I just cross my fingers.
False promise. Like that one, where they?
I say I'll do it in a second, but then I just end up taking like 1 hour to do it.
So maybe you say this next time. You say, I'll do it in a second. according to Brahma's time calculation.
Vishnu's time.
Vishnu's time, even, which was the Nimesha, remember? One
Which
Nimesha.
is Brahma's whole life.
Brahma's whole life it will take. Okay, don't tell Sriji Mataji that I said that, yeah. I'll be in trouble. Okay, so four
Would
Kumaras.
you have a question?
Yes, Pratham.
You shouldn't aim at liberation. You should only aim at bhakti. So why are the Kumaras aiming at liberation?
This liberation here is bhakti only because it says they are attached to Vasudeva. No? The word liberation has got multiple meanings. Sometimes it means going to Brahma Jyoti. Sometimes it can also mean liberation from the five ignorance or liberation from the material world. And that can mean going to Vaikuntha. But here we know it's bhakti because they are saying they are attached to Vasudeva. And who is Vasudeva? Krishna. So they are attached to Krishna. So this is a personal liberation, not an impersonal liberation. Good question, Pratham. I like that. So Brahma is supposed to progenate or to populate. Brahma has created the four Kumaras, and this is Brahma, the supreme living entity first created ever in the material world. He has created knowledge in the form of four children, told them to go and progenate, and they said, "No, Daddy." Why? Because we would rather do bhakti onto Krishna rather than getting into a married life. Because progeny means getting married. And they said, marriage life? No, not in this life.
Oh,
That's it.
Prabhuji.
So hang on, Ronit, hang on. So then when the Kumaras have said this, how is Brahma first felt displeased with creation of ignorance? How do you think Brahma is feeling now after four Kumaras have said, no, boss?
Really angry.
Angry, one word, another words, all the
I
synonyms. Huh, Ane?
I think he'd be infuriated, livid.
Infuriated, that's a big word, very good word yet. I only don't know the word glum for now, but infuriated and exuberance and all those things I know, but glum was a new word to me.
Livid.
Prabhuji,
Yes? Huh?
Prabhuji,
Balaram. Yes, Balaram.
Prabhuji, waxed incense.
No, you are good. You're incense. Okay. Yes, Shreya, just say it. Just unmute and say.
Shocked. Shocked that he.
Shocked. Oh, shocked.
Livid.
Livid. Yeah, livid. Oh my goodness, you guys are so strong with your vocabulary. Is shocked maybe, yeah? Yeah.
I think he
Cabbage?
became angry.
Trying not to express
Yeah.
he's really angry, but he's
Hmm.
trying not to get too much
Yeah.
because
He
Okay.
was flabbergasted.
Now, flabbergasted.
Brahma's getting angry.
Okay, now bring some. Okay, so move away from this area of angry, flabbergasted, and timid, and all that. Come to another. Come, give me some cultural emotions. And in the context of a son saying no to the father, then what are some of the cultural emotions coming out? And when I say cultural, I mean like more values.
more
He felt that
Angry.
disappointed.
he felt that he should punish his sons.
His ego is hurt. He'd
Uh,
be disappointed.
Annoyed.
I can't hear anybody because all of you are talking at the
Annoyed.
same time. Maybe let me take name. Ronit?
Annoyed.
I wanted to say something else.
No, then park that thing. Don't digress. Shreya?
His pride or ego is hurt because his own son is saying no to him.
Yeah, pride is, yeah, okay. To Vedai?
He'd be feeling very disappointed.
Disappointed is, I can, I that's what I'm thinking as well, that I'll be disappointed. Another one, but more cultural.
Prabhuji, can I tell?
Yes.
He's feeling angry, I guess.
Angry is maybe not even, because Brahma might not even be angry because he's a devotee of the Lord, right? Devotees generally don't feel angry. Okay, I want you to remember this word for this section. All the words you have said is not bad, they are okay, but I want you to just remember this word. Disrespected. Because the children are not respecting the father now. He's asked him to do something. According to Brahma's calculation, is also bhakti, because he's doing it as a service to the Lord. Brahma is doing it as a service of the Lord, asking his children to create population. And when they say no, we want to do pure bhakti onto Vasudeva, Brahma feels disrespected. How did Brahma initially feel when he created the five ignorance? Displeased. And now, in the second section, he feels disrespected. This will be a quiz question. How did Brahma feel after creating ignorance? Displeased. and now disrespected. And the reason I said I want you to remember the word displeased is because I'm going to give you different words in each section starting with D. So displeased and disrespected. When we go to the third episode, when we see what happens in Brahma's endeavor to create, I will want you to think of words now starting with D because I've given you the hint. Yeah. How will he feel? Start something that starts with D. Okay. Who's got
Demented.
the? We haven't even gone to the next section, Ronit. Shreya?
Could he also feel annoyed?
Yeah, 100%. 100% annoyed. But see,
Dejected.
the problem with annoyed and
Dejected.
angry, yeah, dejected, angry, annoyed, and all those is because then pivot devotees generally don't feel like that, angry
Dumbstruck.
because somebody's not doing. Pivot devotees don't generally feel that way if somebody is, not doing the things. But disrespected, anybody can feel, even a pivot devotee, that, my disciples are not respecting me. It's not a bad emotion. It's a natural emotion, disrespected. So displeased then disappointed. Let's,
Prabhuji,
yes.
would you also feel frustrated?
Yeah, definitely. Frustrated. Let's read text number 6. Who is supposed
Prabhuji,
to
can I
read that?
Can I read?
Yes, Aradhya, read text number 6. You are next on my video anyway.
Yes. On the refusal of the sons to obey the order of their father, there was much anger generated in the mind of Brahma, which he tried to control and not express.
So he did get angry actually. Yeah, Brahma did get angry. There was much anger generated in his mind, but he tried to control and not express. So 6 verses covered, which is not too bad. Now we generally cover 8 verses. 6 is not too bad, given we started with the new section. So I'll start concluding now and then take your questions because it's 9 o'clock. Gaurang Darshan Prabhu also said during holidays, public holidays, and school holidays and all that, we should read Bhagavatam more. So he said, whatever you are reading, try to extend it during when you can, and not just use your time elsewhere. So maybe next time, when we come back on an opportunity like this, when there's a school holiday or let's say kind of a long weekend on Monday, then we should read more. So rather than in 1 hour, we could squeeze in 1.5 hours like that. How many would you like to do that? Not today for sure, because I'm sure you got other plans. But next time, when opportunity comes, yeah, I'll let Zarna Mataji work that out in advance and let you know so you are prepared. But for now, I'll start recapping and we'll stop at text number 6. So what has happened now? We saw that the first few chapters of Canto 3, we talked about how Uddhava met Maitreya Muni, Vidura met Uddhava. Vidura asked Uddhava to give him bhakti, which is Paramamistitham, knowledge. Uddhava told Maitreya to go to Vidura to go to Maitreya. Maitreya Muni, Vidura asked Maitreya Muni of several questions. So that was the first section. And in the second section of Srimad Bhagavatam, let's say from chapters 3 to chapters 11, Vidura is asking Maitreya Muni multiple questions, and Maitreya is responding to all that. But all the discussions, or let's say predominantly the discussion, is about Sarga. Sarga is equal to primary creation, is equal to all the creations by Lord Vishnu, which is generally the ingredients that Vishnu creates for the material creation. Then from this chapter onwards, we have started looking at the Visarga, which is equal to the secondary creation, which is equal to the creations by all the creations by Lord Brahma. Then we have zoomed into the creations of Lord Brahma. Today we saw two elements of Lord Brahma's creation. The first element that we saw was the Ajnana Vrittis, or the 5 features of ignorance. And after creating that as a duty, as a requirement for the creation of the material world and its population, Brahma felt displeased. To counteract that ignorance, Brahma then endeavored to create the second set of creation, and in that he created the knowledge, which was in the form of the 4 Kumaras, to counteract the ignorance that he had created initially. Then he told his nice children to say, "Oh, my dear boys, I would like you to go and progenate and to populate the world." And the 4 Kumaras said that because we are attached to Vasudeva, we do not want to do this. Was it wrong for the 4 Kumaras? Absolutely not, because there is nothing higher than bhakti. 4 Kumaras wanted to dedicate their lives only on bhakti, and therefore them to not to follow the instructions of Brahma is not entirely incorrect. Having said that, they could have also said that we will get married, create the population, and then do bhakti. They could have responded like that as well. But we are all human beings and we all have our free will, and we want to serve Krishna in a way that suits us most. For example, my service to Krishna is generally by reading and preaching. No, you will not find me on the temple altar or in the temple kitchen. It's not a service that I thoroughly enjoy, but I enjoy preaching. So that's my service. So four Kumaras wanted to be preachers only and not get married, and that's why they said to Brahma, no, we're not going to do population. But Brahma, being Brahma, felt this respected by the four children. What will Brahma do as a third set of creation? We will see that break ke baad, after the break. We will park it here. I'm happy to take any questions or comments. Those who have to drop off can drop off. For those who have time for questions and answers, step back, and then we will have some more fun at the end as well. All righty.